I'm gonna have you run the Twitch.
Oh wait, shit! I remember my question. Can I still say it?
It's finally happened, guys. Welcome to the Scoundrel Podcast. And this segment we like to call Extremely Late Reviews. And what I'm saying about finally, after 20 plus videos, with all these nerds, we finally got an actual girl on the show today. Oh my God. So,
Her only girl.
further ado, we got a special guest, Pyro.
Look into my eyes, you will see.
And a very special guest, Dana. Welcome.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hey.
All right. So this segment we like to call Extremely Late Reviews. And on this late review we're going to be doing is the 1987 Lost Boys, starring Kiefer Sutherland. Good old Kiefer, guys. But before we get started there, Pyro Clown.
Okay.
If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe and hit that notification bell and get our future content. All right. So let's get going here on this extremely late review. So first question out of the blue, of course, has to be, it's an 80s movie. I know I seen it back in the day when I was a kid. Did anybody else see it as a kid? And do they vividly remember it before they had to rewatch it this past week? I'll start with you, Rich. And then I'll start with Rich.
Okay. Sorry, too excited. Sorry, go ahead.
Then I'll go to Dana, and then we'll go to Vince. Go ahead, Rich.
This movie came out the year that I was born, so obviously I didn't watch it like around the first years it came out. It actually took me till I got a little older to. I mean, I remember like bits and pieces growing up, seeing it like on TV and all that stuff, but I never actually sat down and watched the full movie. So it actually took me until like my 20s to watch the legit full movie.
How about you, Dana?
I was a teenager when I first saw this. I think I was like 13, 14 years old. My sister, as bad as the taste of movies that she's in, she introduced me to it, and I don't even know how, but no, I didn't see it obviously when it first came out. I'm a 90s baby. So no, I did not see it when it first came out, but I was like really young. Like I was telling you guys earlier, when VHSs, you had to pop it in, stop it when there was a commercial, replay it, all that jazz. And they cut out so much. So when I resaw it on DVD, oh my God, I loved it all over again because it showed more gore, but other people have other opinions about it. So.
All right, don't be calling me out, all right? Don't be calling me out. And I watched this movie, or actually, I
Like
seen a week ago, all right? But I remember seeing the cover around when I was a kid. My whole family really loves horror movies, and I must have missed just that DVD or that VHS. So I watched mine like a week ago, and you know what? That's all I'm going to say about it right now. So.
Well, just with me, my brother's like 9 years older than me. So naturally, all the stuff that he watches or he was into, of course, trickled down to me. I was watching it because he was watching it. So I didn't watch it in the theaters. I watched it on VHS of his. And I remember vividly loving this movie. At that point, it was my top vampire movie of all time. At that point in my life, when I was younger, that I could remember. So yeah, I remember that watching it with my brother. Seeing these guys on here. So we had Corey Haim and Corey Feldman. They were like the '80s kids that were '80s kid actors that were back in the '80s, real big time. I watched a lot of their movies that they were in. So of course, I had to watch this as well. All right, let's get into let's get into the first scene. It was like we were introduced to Kiefer Sutherland, but how did you think about that intro coming in, that song? I know a lot of people, some individuals like the music that was on the soundtrack. I forgot how it goes. Something How does it go,
Thou
Dana?
shall not kill.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I love
exactly.
that. I love that. The little kids in the background singing it.
Cry, little
Cry,
baby.
little sister. Yes,
Oh, that's
I
what it
love
says.
that.
Cry, little sister.
Cry,
Uh,
cry to your mother. Yes, love
yeah.
it. I thought it was creepy because there's like little children in the background singing stuff. I thought it was
Yeah.
creepy when it first opened up. I was like, ugh. But I thought it was, I mean, I thought it was good, but I
Yeah.
thought the whole freaking movie was good. So
How about you and Rich and Vince? What did you think of like the actual
Well,
the music of it of all?
well, that's
Especially
actually
in the
one.
beginning.
That's actually one of the things I actually really enjoy about this movie. I love 80s music. It's
Uh-huh.
like one of my favorite generations for like music. So right off the bat, like after watching this movie, the music, got me. I always just liked it. So yeah, I was a big fan of how it started. They introduce you right away to the vamp kids, and they're all rebellious, and they're not gonna listen to the rules, man. They're gonna get on this Ferris wheel and not sit on a horse, or the merry-go-round or whatever, and
Yeah,
not sit
yeah,
on a
yeah.
horse.
no, it's
And
not
it's
the
like,
whole-
so yeah. I mean, right off the bat, like I said, with the music, when you're asking about the music, yeah, I enjoyed it.
For me, I didn't care about the music. I'm not really into the music. Oh, everybody's on me, all right? I didn't really care.
No.
Didn't care for the little kids. It's just nothing. I mean, it goes with the movie, which is good, but other than that, it's just I didn't really care. Not at all.
Mhm. Well, I tell you that main theme song. As soon as I heard it in the beginning, I'm like, oh man, it just brought me back because I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, I remember this song. So that main theme song with the vampires, the one that Dana was singing,
Yeah.
as soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh dude, it just kind of gave me some flashbacks. It just that song right there goes with that movie and just reminds me of it. So that was pretty catchy there. I ain't gonna lie, because it always reminds me of that movie. And then we get to going into the movie, we get to a better song. Hold on. So we get to a better song. So we get into the movie, it's we get past the carousel stage. You see that they kind of took out the security guard,
Yeah.
and then but you really didn't see who it was. It was just like a camera flying towards them a little bit. But then we find, I believe his name, what was the guy's name? I can't remember.
Michael.
Michael, there he
Yeah,
is.
Michael.
I should remember that because it was screamed all
I know.
the damn
Oh,
movie.
the whole movie. The whole movie. Entire
Michael and his little brother are introduced, and
Sam.
his mom, and supposedly the mom is, I guess, got a divorce from the father and moving with the grandfather. And grandfather is pretty like a hunter. He had a lot of stuff on the walls with animals, like taxidermy animals and antlers and all that stuff. And so,
Yeah.
but anyways, going in further, it begins with like any other vampire movie. It begins with a love interest,
Yeah.
So the only difference is these vampires, they don't sparkle or none of that shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, that's just crazy. I mean, vampires sparkle, but so Michael sees this pretty little lady, right, walking around, and then you got some music in the back, and then all of a sudden you see this old chisel chest over here playing some saxophone.
Little chest.
Is singing. How does it go, Dana? Go ahead. I know you know that song. Go ahead.
And it just says, I still believe. And
That's
then
it.
he takes a saxophone.
That's it.
I mean, I actually know all the lyrics. I'm not going to sing them, but that's the main one.
But I
I'm
don't
a
get
huge fan of this movie.
I don't get why that guy was up there like that.
Super
He was
super
putting on a
oiled up.
show.
Super oily.
Super
Hey,
oiled
he had,
up.
he had
It
to
was
put on that
hilarious.
show.
I thought it was hilarious. And the guys are like rocking out to it like it's a huge metal band and it's really
Yeah.
not. But I thought it was hilarious because he's just having a freaking good time on the stage.
See, that's
But-
another good song.
Oh, that song gets you amped up. How can you not get amped up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So did you like that scene, Vince? Did you like that scene, Vincey?
I mean, I like the scene where, I think it shows like around like the pier and stuff like that, so you get to see,
Yeah.
the
Mhm.
comic book store, like the different people, the different stores. So
Yeah,
I
that's
think
true.
I think if someone new is watching it, like someone that didn't live in the 80s or 90s, that would be like a really good like intro for like any movie like that. So just to see like what they're all wearing, what the hairstyle is, what kind of music was in back in the day. I think that scene was really good, especially with the guy all oiled up and playing the saxophone.
Yeah,
Really
Uh-huh.
taking it to the extreme.
Yeah.
Super
that's
80s.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
it definitely made me smile when I saw that. It definitely made me smile when I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? I don't remember this part, but anyways,
Oh dear.
Were you like fist
but
bumping while you're thinking that?
no, I'm like, why the hell is that guy up there with no shirt on? Good old chisel chest. I'm like, okay, whatever. But anyway, so he looks at this girl, it catches his eye, Michael's eye, and yeah, he follows her, and then finally he sees that she's jumping on the bike with good old Keefe. I don't know why I call him Keefe. I just call him Keefe. I don't care. Good old Keefe's bike. He's looking at him, smiling at him, and off they go. But you also got his mom. I'm sorry, I forgot what his little brother's name was.
Sam.
Damn.
Damn. Okay.
Damn.
So Sam and his mom goes to
It's okay. I
goes in
couldn't
the
remember
comic
their
book store.
naming.
No, I don't know. I'm just maybe it's just the timing right now. I'm all discombobbled right now. But anyway, so they go in the comic book store, I believe, and they see Max, the older gentleman with
Yeah.
the Coke bottles on his eyes. And anyway, so the boys, Keefe and his boys are in there, and he says, get the hell out of here. I told you to get out, whatever. And you're surprised because they just looked at him like, okay, sure, we'll get out.
Yeah.
Did any of you were like suspicious of Max right away at all?
Absolutely right away. They showed him too much. They showed him too much throughout the video or the movie for him not to be like the main guy, because he's just ugly and was a bad character. So I'm like, there's no way he's like popping up everywhere, left and right, that he's not going to be the main guy.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't think he was the main guy at that part.
Yeah.
But then it did, like, it was kind of a little weird how like they're rebellious to everything else, but this guy just tells them to get out, and
right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So yeah, but he's like the most like non-threatening looking guy. So I was like, okay, they had to listen to him for something.
I don't know. Throughout the whole entire movie, they kept bringing him up. So
yeah.
At that point, I didn't think so. I was like, all right, maybe they ran like scrap with him before or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I don't think that guy has anything to do with them. So I was just like, I didn't really figure that guy was gonna be, a threat or anything like that.
Yeah, I was just like Rich. I didn't think of anything of him right there. Actually, I didn't think of him further down the movie either, as far as being the main antagonist, I guess. But we'll get more into that later. And then we see Michael. He's following that girl again, and then she jumps on his bike, his little dirt bike, and then Keefe and the boys come over, and I don't know. It's just like they're gonna have like a little race off, I guess, on the beach, and I don't know. It's just like it's weird how that whole scene played out, and he was about to go off the cliff, but then he stopped right away. He was mad at Keefe, but then he still follows him all the way through, and I'm like, dude, like, it's like, why you keep following these guys? Were you kind of like, me? If that was me, I wouldn't be following these guys. I'm like, where the hell are you guys taking me?
Yeah.
We just met. I was trying to hit on your girl, and then you want me to go hang out with you in this was it abandoned hotel that was back in the day.
Yeah, it was like a
Yeah,
cave
like,
or
Yeah.
Plowed
yeah,
something.
out.
caved in.
Yeah.
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 So I don't know. I thought that was kind of weird. Did you guys think that was kind of weird a little bit? And what about that whole cave scene itself? Them keep, you know, I think he was like eating worms or something, making him think it was something
Oh
different.
yeah, making him hallucinate.
What did you guys think of that whole scene when they're in the cave with the other guys?
I mean, the cave itself, it was a trash dump. I mean, it looked so bad. Like they obviously didn't, take care of it or anything. But I mean, the
Yeah, I
whole scene
swear.
of how like they welcomed him so easily,
Yeah,
into like their base basically where they all hang out. And I know later on in the movie they'll say that was supposed to be Star, the girl that he's into. That was supposed to be her first kill. And I don't know if
right.
this whole thing was building to that, or I don't know. Kiefer Sutherland or his character David, he just accepted him a little too easily. So I thought that was
Yeah.
a little strange, and showed him
Mm.
like all their inner workings and everything with their base and everything.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when you said like why was he going like so easily, one thing I think he was trying to impress Star, the chick. I thought he was trying to impress her through the entire thing because he's constantly staring at her, even in the cave,
Mhm.
like, should I do this? Should I do this? And then the way they welcomed him so easily, David, I believe that he was testing him through the entire thing. Like, okay, is he going to go off the cliff or is he going to stop? Is he going to hit me or is he not going to hit me? Is he going to drink this or is he not going to drink this? The whole thing, is he going to get freaked out by the worms? I think the whole thing was a test, like the entire thing, to see how far he would go. He even kept saying, how far are you willing to go, Michael? How far are you willing to go, Michael? Through the entire freaking scene, even the bridge scene, he says it again. How far are
Yeah.
you willing to go? It's like, Jesus, like how, so I think that's
Yeah.
why. And I think he was new to the town. He was lonely. So I mean, I think
Yeah.
that's why.
Trying to impress.
Trying to impress
Yeah.
everybody. Yeah.
Kinda
I mean,
like-
he even buys a leather jacket to fit in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Kind of
Yeah.
like like Vince when he joined us in receiving. He's trying to impress us.
No, definitely a lie. Definitely a lie. I was trying to think of someone in that movie, and no, nobody was a Lone Ranger in there. So no, nobody's in the movie. That's me. But yeah,
Are
that
you
scene,
Go ahead.
that scene, going back to the, when they're hopping on the bike and stuff, I thought they were gonna fight because he was like, it's like, why do you have my girl on your bike? It's like, I thought for sure they were gonna fight, and then
Yeah.
they take off, and I was like, okay, I'm like, I guess we'll see where this goes. And then they get to that cliff, and I'm like, oh, this is how he's gonna get him. I'm like, all right. And he didn't go, and then he started following some more, and I was like, what the I'm like, all right. I thought he was gonna get back at him somehow, but from what Dana said, I'm like, oh, this does sound like a bunch of little trials for him, and see how
Yeah.
far he goes. So, but I thought honestly he was just gonna mess him up, or at least do something to him to make him like double think, like, if you mess with us or my girl, this is what
Yeah.
you're gonna get. So
Mhm. I was surprised though of that all that scene too was, later on we find out that it was supposed to be Star's first kill, but right away he made the assumption of, okay, she's not going to do it, so I'm going to have him drink the blood to become one of us.
Yeah.
I mean, he made that decision pretty quick. I didn't think he gave Star really an opportunity to the fullest to try to do that. So
Yeah.
that's what I was kind of thinking of, like, okay, he really didn't give her a chance at all to fulfill what she had to do. And then right before he drinks the blood, she really didn't try to convince him not to drink it. No, don't drink it. I'm like,
she's like,
for real?
it's
That's
just
all?
like,
blood.
no,
Yeah.
don't do it.
No, she tells him it's blood. And he's like, yeah, right, whatever.
That's
I
all she
mean,
said. It was one time. She didn't
Wouldn't
knock
you
it
have
out of his
slapped it
hand.
out of his hand or
Yeah.
well,
something?
I'm sure she didn't want to go against David, but if you remember, he asks her after they did the little diddle-oo, why didn't you kill me last night? And she was like, oh, you were supposed to be my first. But I think David welcomed him to the group because he literally followed them to the freaking cave. So, but like a
So do you
douche.
so with that being said, do you guys believe like David actually was kind of impressed that he was following them and doing all these kind of these quote unquote tests he was giving them, and he was actually keep trying to go after it and everything? So you think David actually was like, okay, I really do want him to be part of the clique? You think that's what he was thinking?
I kind of think so.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, as easy as he, led him to, where their hangout was, it seemed like that was already in his mind that, he was gonna have him join.
Then we get to the railroad scene. I don't know how you guys like that railroad scene. It was pretty cool how they were just dangling there. I want to be dangling there. I'm like, what the hell you guys doing? I'm like, but it turned out good. He wakes up in the morning on his bed. He's mad because his mom calls him saying he has to watch Sam, his annoying little brother. I believe there was like a scene with where Sam's in the bathroom, and Michael's walking up the stairs, going towards him. Having like a thirst. Having a thirst.
I love that part so much.
Having a thirst, having a thirst attack, and is going into the bathroom where Sam's at. What did you guys think of that whole scene with the husky thing? And I know Pyro probably really likes it because he's a big husky fan. He loves huskies. So, what do you guys think about that scene and how that played out?
I personally thought it was really cool just to see the dog Nanook get so protective of Sam, like even against someone Nanook grew up with, because he was around Michael too his whole life, but he protected Sam because he knew something wasn't right with Michael. But me and Dana even talked about this. We're trying to think of what did they do to that dog to get him so pissed just for that scene.
So
I mean, he
was
was like. He looked like he was about to kill the cameraman that was filming that scene. I was just always wondering, like, what did they do to that dog to get him so pissed? But yeah, I like that scene, like how it shows you how protective Nanook is to Sam.
Yeah, no, I love that scene only because of Nanook and stuff like that. Because I think he was so I know it sounds so stupid, but he was such an underrated character because he helps him out through the entire movie. If you think about it, literally, he helps him out. But yeah, with Richie saying like, what do they do to get that dog so pissed off? And even when he lunges at him, like, what the frick, like that. But that I thought was cool because they always say like dogs sense things that you obviously can't sense and stuff like that. And he basically saved freaking Sam's life for his brother sucking his blood. So I thought it was pretty cool. I loved it.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. Pyro Clown?
Oh man, I loved that freaking scene. That scene was probably the best.
That was the highlight of the movie.
Yeah, the highlight of the whole movie is right there. Freaking, I don't know, like, just seeing the dog just being so protective of, the little brother. It's like, especially, I feel like, dogs, like, two people can grow up with the dog, but it'll always be closer to one person. It'll be just a tad closer to the little brother or the big brother or something like that. So it was good that to see that. But I feel like the dog probably just sensed something and just knew that something isn't right. Freaking, I don't know, they have like a sixth sense about that. So
I just imagine that scene happening and Vince looking at his dog. Would you guys do that for me? You're asking fit.
Dude, if that was my dogs in there, dude, they would leave. I think they would just end up leaving to go somewhere else. They wouldn't even protect me like that. They would not even protect
me. Just bail.
They found out that Michael's a vampire, First of all, Sam was like not even worried about Michael when Enoch, I think his name, the dog's
my dog.
What did you do to my dog? What'd you do to my dog? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, I'm fine, bro. It's like, dude, what's up with that? Just worried about his dog. But anyway,
that'd be me right there.
Yeah.
What'd you do to my dog, man?
And
Yeah.
then later on, it goes into that you find Michael is a vampire. He's flying up to Sam's window. It's kind of cheesy and kind of annoying,
Yeah.
but Sam was
Yeah.
like, oh, what are you doing, Michael? Oh, get away! You're a vampire."
Yeah.
Oh my god, this like no wonder you were just an '80s kid actor.
Oh.
Yeah.
I
Oh
was
my
like, oh my
God.
god, that was kind of terrible for me. I was just laughing. But anyways, so we get to the window scene, and he's there, and he tells him he's a vampire and everything. He calls up his crew. I don't know their names. Corey Feldman and his boy.
The Frog Brothers.
Goodness.
Frog Brothers. There we go. The
Edgar
Frog-
and Alan Frog.
Oh, okay. The Frog Brothers. So
I
they
didn't
go
even know
down-
that.
My favorite two characters.
Yeah.
I didn't even know their names the whole time.
Wait,
The whole
you guys-
movie.
You guys
The
are
whole
forgetting. I'm
movie.
forgetting something, aren't I? I'm forgetting that during that time before that,
The introduction
He went-
of them.
He met
didn't
them
he
in the
go-
comic book store.
Yeah, he met him in
Yeah.
a comic book store. But it was oh my god, was Michael went down to, get a little bit of tail from Star and then come they come up, and I'm like, okay, so you went all the way down there just to get a piece of ass and came back and come back home. So I'm like, okay, I guess, because that's the whole scene was. I'm like, okay, that's how you went down to the cave. All right.
Yeah.
So, anyways, he went down there and came back after that, and then that vampire scene happened at the window with his brother Sam.
Yeah.
Speaking about the Frog Brothers, did you guys like the Frog Brothers? Were they like comedy for you? Kind of not? Did it work?
Well, I know Dana's got a lot more to say about them than I do, but I'm just gonna say that they were my favorite characters of the movie.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, they were the
Huh.
ones that keep me really interested. Obviously when I did see this, I told you I was like in my 20s, but I knew who Corey Feldman was more than Corey Haim. I didn't watch too many Corey Haim movies. This is probably the only movie I know him from is this one. But I know that he was a big child actor, just like Corey Feldman. But I just grew up with Corey Feldman, like with the Goonies and different
Mhm.
other movies that he's done. So right
Yeah.
off the bat, like they were the ones that kept me really into the movie. Not that I was ever out of it. Like I said, the music was great, but yeah, they were two of my favorite characters.
You're good.
No, they were, because they were, to me, the funniest. I mean, yeah, some of the things that they did was stupid and corny and didn't make sense half the time, but they were so amped on, there's vampires here, and nobody believed them and stuff. And their parents were always high as fuck in the background, always freaking high. I don't know if anyone noticed that. But all their little lines and stuff throughout the entire movie, I loved. And me and my sister had a huge crush on one of them, so I love them. So,
And yeah, like Dana was saying, they're little lines that they would have throughout the movie.
yeah, throughout the
they were just
entire
so
movie.
like at the very end, whenever everything's all said and done, there's like, how much should we charge them for this? After
Yeah,
just everything they
the
just
house
saw.
exploded and everything. How much should we
But,
charge for this?
yeah.
I love it. They crack me up.
I think when I first seen them, or they get like introduced, I think I was like I wasn't into them as much, and I thought they were kind of annoying in the beginning. But as the movie kept going on, I was like, all right, these little kids are pretty funny. And then when they start getting into the fights and stuff like that, I'm like, all right, I can see these kids, taking care of business, especially against vampires. And I think they did end up bringing that comedy relief into this movie. So
Yeah.
I was kind of like on your level there, Vince. I was kind of like, okay, whatever.
yeah.
I really wasn't into him. The part that I started getting into him, like you said, when they were doing the fight scenes. But the one that I really got into was when they actually went down to the cave with Michael, trying to pick up Star and the little kid. They went into the cave, and I mean, they had some cojones, man. They went straight up into that cave and quickly, not without hesitation, stabbed. I think that his name was Marco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for the
Right.
little
Right.
one.
I mean,
Go for the little
without
guy.
no fear, man, no hesitation.
Yeah.
And then, but after they stabbed him, then reality hit him. Reality hit him. They said, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
And they said, "Let's get the hell out of here." So then they got out of there without Keefe right behind them trying to grab their ankles or whatever, but the sunlight got him.
Yeah.
So then they regroup and go back to the house. And there is one scene that I did kind of want to talk about before we get to that final scene with the fight. Is I believe his name was Max.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to talk about a little bit more about Max. So he did all the testing, correct? Like as far as the garlic,
Yeah.
I believe,
Mm.
and was
Yeah.
it? Did they have a mirror reflection?
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
too, and stuff like that. So they did
Yeah.
little things to test Max out. At that point, when he passed all those tests, where other than Dana, probably, I was still convinced he wasn't a part of it.
Yeah.
I don't know about the rest of you guys. Did you? I'm like, okay, he passed the test. It's good.
No,
Were you in the same
I'll
level as
tell you
me?
why. I'll tell you
I
why.
I was the same. I was on the same level too, because like I said, he was so like non-threatening, and he just seemed like just like the mom's boyfriend. Like he was just part of the story. Not going to be a major part of it. But one of the parts that made me did think was whenever his dog attacked or chased the mom, whenever she
Mhm.
went to go visit
Mhm.
him. But yeah, even then, I didn't even think he was going to be the main antagonist.
But see, I don't want to cut you guys off, but see right there when Rich said about the dog going crazy, and then we read about the comic about the hell dogs or whatever
Oh
I think
yeah,
it was
Mhm.
called.
hellhounds.
Yeah.
But right
Uh-huh.
before that, he was walking towards his house and he looked up, right? Because his dog was acting normal before that.
Uh-huh.
His dog wasn't acting crazy. And then you see up, like almost like you hear a noise coming at him, and it was a kite. And then after
Yeah.
the kite, something was still coming at him. So my thing is
Motorcycles.
I'm not sure if he was actually a vampire yet until that scene, maybe that a vampire actually got him. Because the dog and him were actually, the dog was normal until till later on. So that's,
Mm.
I don't know. Maybe did any thought come into mind after seeing that scene that actually the head vampire really did take over his body or something? Because it looked kind of weird to me.
Well, if you realize any other scene, the dog is with Max in the video and everything. This was the only scene that Max wasn't there, was when he attacked Lucy. So that's why I thought, because that's his like cave, his domain, his
Okay.
house. So that's why I thought, but I don't know if there's any Buffy the Vampire Slayer fans out there, but I was. So that's why I knew if you invite a vampire into your house, there's not going to be nothing. And then when Max was leaving, the grandfather, I don't know if you noticed, he was like staring at him right behind the door, like looking at him.
Oh,
So
okay.
that gave me a clue, like, okay, obviously the grandpa knows something that, I don't know, little tidbits. Come on, people. Come on. But yeah, that's why I thought Max was the head vampire. But
How about you, Vincey? What'd you think about Max, the character, and then ultimately being the head vampire at the end?
This is when I thought it just kind of changed my opinion about him. So when the dog attacked the mom, I just thought it was gonna be like just a dog that's just aggressive about its territorial
Yeah.
territory and stuff. So I didn't think too much on that, like about the dog protecting him while he's sleeping or something like that. But when Max tried to get into the house, he wasn't really like coming into the house and just asking questions between who opened the door. I can't even remember.
Michael. He
Michael.
invited
Yeah.
him in.
Yeah. So, that little conversation when they were asking stuff like back and forth, and I'm like, all right, usually any normal person would just walk in and start talking to him and like still asking questions and stuff, but he stayed like on the outside still. And I was like, and I'm pretty sure when he said like, oh, I need to be invited in or something, at that moment I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, no, this guy's a fucking vampire. This guy is, he needs to be invited in and do all his like vampire stuff. So at that moment I was just like, yep, he's somehow a vampire, or along with all the four people gang right there.
Yeah.
So that was the Max part. So then we get to the final scene with the vampires and stuff. And with that final scene, did you guys like how they were designed as far as the face, the makeup? Did you guys appreciate all that
Yeah,
as far as them?
yeah. I was
But
I was actually gonna bring that up too, because I didn't know if you were gonna ask that question, but I was gonna ask that. You know, seeing it, I'm pretty sure like whenever I said I saw it in the 20s, it wasn't anything like shocking or crazy looking. But I imagine that watching that like in the 80s, that was like the first time you saw. I feel like you saw a vampire like that with the yellow glowing eyes and their face all contorted, kind of like they would do on Buffy. Like the Buffy, whenever like
yeah,
Angel, he would turn into a vampire. His face is all like jacked up like theirs was. So I actually liked the way they made him look in this one in the movie.
how about you, Dana? Did you like the design of
Um,
the vampires?
of course, I'm gonna say everything positive to say about this movie, but yeah, that's what, like, you know, with freaking Twilight and shit, they only got the teeth. That's all they got. Nobody does anything else, or they're super crazy pale and all that crap, or glowing or what. I don't even know. I've never even seen any of those movies, but yeah, I liked it because I was a huge Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. The glowing eyes and the teeth and the gore, that freaking scene, the freaking where they had the
Beat,
campfire and
yeah, the
everything. That
campfire.
was
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
the scene that they would cut out so bad when the VHSs were out. They would cut it so bad, so I never got to experience the gore. So I freaking love that whole scene when they're like, "Okay, Michael, the final test is about to begin," and I love that scene. I love it. Some of them had smaller teeth in their face. That part I didn't like so much. But some of them had huge fangs, and then others had these little dinky little things. I didn't like that so much. But yeah, I love contacts. I love when vampires have the contacts and stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's really cool. It glows.
Yeah, I was just about to bring up the campfire or the little bonfire thing. Is I feel like you know, back in the day, there's nothing like that where, you know, you turn on the TV and, you know, there's blood and gore every day or something like that. But I mean, back then in a movie and seeing that bonfire scene, that must have been like, people must have like walked out of the movie theater,
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
you know, people turned their heads or something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but that
Wait.
scene was good. And I feel like the whole thing, like their makeup and like the blood and gore, it was actually pretty good. It held up, and I didn't feel like it was like, I don't know, like too cheesy and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
how other movies can get. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, the makeup and stuff held up.
So I mean, I didn't want to go too like far into details on the scenes, but I do want to ask you guys, what is your overall rating of this movie? I'm gonna tell you guys mine. Mine when I was when I was younger, I remember this on a high pedestal. Now I know I say, well, things have changed, and it has, because then when I watched it again, just recently, I'm just like, man, there's a lot of cheese in here. I don't remember all this cheese in this movie, but you know, maybe because it's 2021, of course. So, so, but back then, I even told Rich before I even watched this again, because it's been some time since I watched it. I was like, oh yeah, that was so awesome. That was like my top, you know, vampire movie ever made. You know,
Yeah.
I was so high on it. I mean, I'm still high on it compared to a lot of these other movies, but I didn't realize how much cheese really was in here.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff was like, okay, I'm missing some. I was actually missing some character development on certain things as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah. So I mean, it wasn't bad. It's still, I still recommend it to people now to see it if they haven't seen it, like we did with Vince. So my question is, how was your overall thoughts on watching it then and then watching it now in recent times? And what was your overall rating from a scale to 1 to 10?
So like I said, I was introduced like in my 20s, and it's always a movie that whenever it is on or we pop it in, I always enjoy it every time. And it doesn't really get boring for me. My overall rating though would be an 8 out of 10, and here are my two reasons why. I didn't find Max like threatening at all, even whenever he turned into and they found out you found out he was the main antagonist. He just wasn't threatening at all. And two, the last battle between the vampires and Michael and them,
Yeah.
they died so quick.
Yeah.
Like Dana would know, who's the blonde guy that got thrown in the tub?
Oh, Paul?
Yeah, Paul. That whole fight, he had the kids right there.
The dog came right away.
And then the dog
right
knocked
in
him
there.
out. Nanook,
Oh
Nanook
my
to the
God.
rescue. Nanook to the rescue. And I just didn't the ending scene. I just felt like it went too fast. But
Mhm.
you know, there's not much you can do about that since you know that's just how they did it. But that's the reason I give it an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, surprisingly, I mean, as much as I love the movie, I'd be an idiot to give it 10 out of 10. Come on, I'm not that stupid. I'm not gonna give it a 10 out of 10. But from when I was younger to now, there's things that I missed when I was younger, like some of the adult humor that I understand now and everything. So again, a lot of it was clipped out that they couldn't show on TV. So I guess I would give it an 8 out of 10 because I can't give it a 9 or a 10 because obviously there was a lot of corny parts. But yeah, certain scenes like that, like the freaking arrow that shoots, I know all their names. Dwayne, he gets shot into the radio and his hands, like that part's that got like corny and stupid. So I was a little disappointed. And Max was such a horrible, 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 horrible character. He was so non-threatening. And then the grandpa freaking kills him with the car and stuff like that.
So fast.
And when they're fighting him, he just literally shoves them out of the way and they're like, oh shit. They just like fall over and stuff like that. But 8 out of 10 because it wasn't that great, but I still love it. Love you, Lost Boys.
For me, I would say it's probably
Careful.
a 7.
Ah,
my
okay, 7. Okay,
Wow,
7.
Seven.
Seven's not bad.
7.
7. I'll take 7.
Yeah. It's a good movie to watch if you've never watched it before. And like I said in the beginning, it shows like that era of time. So if you're, I don't know, trying to look or research about like 80s or something like that, movies like that just show really like how things were in the 80s or 90s. And like I said, the makeup was good. There is some corny parts and stuff like that, but overall I felt like this movie was good. It's just if it's on, I'm not gonna be like, oh, I gotta watch it. Like, it's just like, it's there. I was gonna float off like a vampire. That was like a vampire right there.
All you see is Max.
Yeah. Oh, again.
All you see.
Oh
Take him out.
no.
Oh, wait. Hold on.
The computer hates you.
Oh, it's the stupid USB thing. It keeps popping out.
You were done?
Yeah,
Okay,
I said I was done. I was
sure.
gonna
trying to make
I
sure.
thought that's
disappear.
what the dramatic exit was.
Yeah, I was like,
And
bye.
scene.
You know what? I'm gonna be like Vince and give it a 7. Till for 2021 even. I wish they would have done little things different. One thing I didn't appreciate was they really didn't have Michael really be tested for his thirst.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They didn't show too much of him battling, being half human, half vampire, because he wasn't fully vampire. They weren't really showing him battling that out, one half battling the other half type deal,
Yeah.
I was also, I was kind of interested where Kiefer and the boys come from. How did they become vampires? I know they say, well, Max is the head vampire. Well, what made him choose them? And how long ago had them been vampires?
Yeah.
Was it recently? Was it a long time ago before, when the hotel was still up? And why was it just them? And if not, is there more cross, that Max has recruited over the years?
Yeah.
Kind of that type deal. So the final question I'm gonna have though is, for 2021, can you see a movie like this being like a reboot? And how do you think that would fare in a reboot situation?
Don't touch it. To me,
Don't touch it.
To me, Lost Boys, like I said, I did give it a 7 out of 10, but to me, it is like a cult classic. Like
You gave it an
you're not
8.
supposed. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm listening to what you guys said. An 8 out of 10. I consider it like a cult classic. Like, you're not supposed to touch it. Just like, the way Mortal Kombat, the first one, is for us. Like, there was a lot of cheese and there was a lot of corny parts, but it's still like a classic. So I don't think they should touch this one.
Oh, you know my answer. I'm gonna fucking kill them if they do it. No, hell no. Please don't. Please. There's just certain ones like you guys said, like even I know Child's Play was horrible, but even the new one, and they redid Halloween over and over and over and over, and it was
Yeah.
just like, oh God, just shoot me. It's just so dead. So
Yeah.
please, for the love of God, don't touch it. It's good. It's corny. Get some wine with the cheese. I don't care. Just leave it alone, please. For the love of God.
I'm gonna say go for it because they ruined all my other good movies. So
Wow.
no.
Whatever.
But no, I feel like this movie has its own charm and it has its own like aesthetic to it that if they try to bring it into 2021, they're just gonna mess it up and it's just gonna be a horrible mess.
Yeah.
So yeah, especially with older movies like this, it's just like you're never gonna get that feeling just right. So yeah, I would say not to touch it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm in the same level as you guys. It's just like what Richie was saying. It was made for that time,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna leave it there and not try to reboot it. But I know a lot of people are trying to reboot every little thing that was in the past. That's why I had to ask. But that's gonna be it for us, folks.
And
Hold
then
on,
I'll
I
cut
got
it.
one more question. The way they became vampires, what do y'all think? You know, it wasn't your
Oh,
traditional
yeah.
getting bit and then you
Uh,
become a vampire. It was drinking his blood and then become a vampire and then having your first kill. And I just was curious to know what everyone thought about that. But
That for me, that was definitely something different. That's not what you usually see. And yeah, because as we were talking about, I was thinking about that too. Because when David brought up
yeah.
that scene of him drinking the blood, uh, yeah, I thought it was really cool that they went a different route instead of getting bit your traditional way and turning.
yeah, I think that's one of the ways it kind of sticks out for me is just him drinking blood instead of getting bit or yeah, no, him getting bit and then
Yeah.
turning around and gotta bite someone else or something like that. So it was a pretty interesting thing. I don't I don't know about the whole in a wine thing and stuff like that, but it was
Yeah,
all
that was
right.
kind of corny.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
was pretty
Yeah.
corny.
Yeah, like Vince was saying, it probably been cool if he actually, cut himself and drained his
Yeah.
blood like that. Not for him to suck
yeah,
on his arm or anything, but just
yeah,
just
Oh,
like
that
on
was
the
kind of like on
table.
Queen of the Damned. That was like Queen of the
Yeah,
Damned. Yeah, like
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
then it also reminded me too of like I don't know if you guys watched the movie Dracula Untold, with Luke Evans,
I think
and
I think I have.
then with him, how he became Dracula was the other vampire gave him his blood, kind of like that, drinking his blood. But they said he had like a certain amount of time to be a vampire. He to the I forgot how he said it, but he was like he had to get
Mm.
his first kill, like he had to kill somebody
Mm.
and suck their. He
Mm.
had to drink human blood within like 36 hours, I believe, or 48 hours, I believe, and then he'll turn. But if he doesn't, he won't. He'll just keep the powers just for a couple days, and then he won't turn into the Dracula monster. But at the end, he actually does. He kills his own wife.
Oh.
Oh, but anyway,
Doug
spoiler.
Fall, way too,
Spoiler.
way too disparate. Can't watch it now. No, I'm joking.
Spoiler. He didn't want to listen, so he had to say, "Hey, I'm gonna have to bite you." For extremely late reviews on The Lost Boys, leave your comments down below. Did you like The Lost Boys back in the day, or have you watched it recently? What is your rating on it? And give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I want to say thank you to Pyro. Thank you for joining us again. And
Yeah.
thank you to Dana for joining us as well. Thank you for being on here.
Absolutely.
Where they can find us there, Rich?
If you click on the description of this video, you'll see a link tree. Click on that to follow us everywhere from Instagram, Twitch. Follow that way you can get to our podcast, which is on Podomatic and Apple Podcasts. So yeah, click on that if you ever want to follow us anywhere. We're on there.
And then Pyro, where can they find you at, my brother?
They can find me on Twitch at PyroClown59. And I didn't know on YouTube you can't change your name until you get 100 subscribers. So yeah. So that last video that I did fucked up. But if you go to my Twitch account, I posted my Instagram and Twitter and YouTube on there, so it'll give you a direct link to all my stuff.
What game are you on Twitch right now?
So on Tuesday I do BioShock, and Thursday, Friday still doing Hollow Knight. Almost done.
And where can
Everybody-
they find? And where can they find you, Dana?
Nowhere. Leave me alone. Oh, no, I'm shocking.
No, please follow Pyroclown if you're into the gaming, and plus me, Rich, and even Dana actually pops up in there and have interesting conversations with Mr. Clown. we have a good time in there. So please go ahead and check Pyroclown, and thank you for listening, everybody. Dave, Rich, Dana, and Vince. Remember, there never could be enough scoundrels in your life.